Dear students, so just I want to explain a part of first chapter, that is Woodward-Fisher rules and applications. So in that I will start. So what is a Woodward-Fisher rule and applications? So first one, so Woodward-Fisher rules. So this is nothing but these are various rules which are mainly used to find out or correlate lambda max with the help of molecular structure. So firstly, a scientist named Robert Woodward. So he gave some rules for finding or correlating lambda max with the help of molecular structure. Later, Fisher modified whatever the rules that was given by the Woodward, and that modified rules totally called as the Woodward-Fisher rule. So these Woodward-Fisher rules are nothing but these are various rules which are mainly used to find out the molecular structure of a which are mainly used to find out the lambda max with the help of a molecular structure. So generally we will find out the lambda max in laboratory. So how you will find out the lambda max? So just you will take the absorbance at various lambda maxes and you will select the wavelength where the absorbance is higher. So that wavelength will be taken as a lambda max. But in this case, the Woodward and Fisher, he both gave some rules. So without doing practical, by simply seeing the structure, you can find out the lambda max. So with the help of molecular structure. So by seeing the position and degree of substitution of chromophores, so it is mainly used to find out the lambda max. So you already know chromophore is the one a part of a molecule which is mainly it plays a main role or which is mainly helpful to absorb the UV rays or UV visible rays. So that is the chromophore. So in this case, so before going to the main topic, so I think you people understand what is a Woodward rule. So Woodward rule are nothing but this is mainly used to find out the lambda max with the help of a molecular structure. So what is in Woodward-Fisher rule, so Woodward gave some rules for finding the lambda max, like for various compounds like dienes, trienes, and alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds, etc. So in that case, so first we are going to see so how you will calculate the lambda max with the help of a in a various compounds like alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds or dienes or trienes. So you people know, so what is a diene? So diene is nothing but, so ene is nothing but double bond, and diene is nothing but two double bonds, and triene is nothing but three double bonds. So each type of, in every molecule for a certain functional group, they have the some fixed value, so at which generally UV absorption will be takes place. So that value, so for every particular diene or triene, so it is having some particular value, isn't it? So that value is called as a base value or parent value. So along with that base value, along with that diene or triene, generally these functional groups have a various substrates. So what are various substrates? That may have the alkyl substrates or double bond extending conjugation or polar groups like chloride, bromide, and iodine. So all these groups also add some value to the basic value. So both the basic value as well as the substrate value will be contribute for the lambda max of a particular compound. And so what are the rules for conjugated dienes and polyenes? So dienes are nothing but so compound which is having the double bonds. So conjugated dienes are nothing but so compounds which are having the alternate double bonds. And according to the Woodward-Fisher rule, so the lambda max can be calculated by using the base value. So what is the base value? Base value is nothing but this is a fixed value for diene or triene. So generally at which the absorption takes place, and the substrates. So what are the, so along with the basic compound or the parent compound, several substrates are present, and that contribution and other contributions. So base value. So already we have told that, so base value is nothing but for each type of diene and triene system is having the certain fixed value at which the absorption will be takes place, and that value is called as the base value or parent value. So first step in predicting the wavelength of maximum UV absorption for conjugated dienes is to find out whether it is a cis or trans. So before giving the base value, for any dienes and trienes, you have to find out whether it is a cis or trans. So if it is a cis value, the base value will be 253, and if it is a trans value, the base value will be 270. I think you people know cis value. Cis is nothing but if the same functional group is present on the same side of a carbon-carbon double bond, that is a cis. So see here. So this is a cis. If the same functional group is present on the opposite side of a double bond, then that is a trans. And the base value is also depends on whether the conjugate, whether the diene is a linear or heteroannular or transoid diene, or whether it is a cyclic or homoannular diene. So the sum of all substituent contributions are added to the base value to obtain the lambda max. So what is a homoannular diene? So homoannular diene is nothing but both the compounds, so both the double bonds are present within the ring structure. So here it is a bit changed the structure, but the actual structure is, so the double bond is present here and the double bond is present here. So the homoannular diene is nothing but cyclic diene having the conjugated double bonds. So I already told conjugated is nothing but having the double bonds alternate double bonds. So when the double bonds are present within the ring structure, then that is called as a homoannular diene. And what is a heteroannular diene? So heteroannular dienes is nothing but, so both the double bonds are present on the different groups. That means one double bond is present in one ring and another double bond is present in the another ring structure. So next, endocyclic double bond. Endo is nothing but when the double bond is present within the ring, and exocyclic is nothing but when the double bond is present outside the ring. For example, in this case, this is a exocyclic. Why this is exocyclic? This bond is external to this A ring. So that's why this is a exocyclic double bond. Is it clear? So next, so double bond extending. So double bond extending is nothing but when the double bonds are present other than the conjugated system. So here this is a double bond extending. So all these factors will contribute to give the base value for any particular compound. So these are the values for several compounds. So here the parent value for acyclic conjugated diene. So acyclic, you know, so that is nothing but linear. So without ring structure or without cyclic structure, that is called as acyclic. Or heteroannular. Heteroannular is nothing but when the double bonds are present in a different ring structure. Homoannular is nothing but when the double bonds are present within the same ring. And acyclic trienes, that is nothing but which is having the three double bonds without cyclic structure. And what are the other structures which will increases the base, adds the value for lambda max? They are cyclic substituents, alkyl substituents. So alkyl substituent is nothing but CH3, exocyclic double bonds and double bond extending conjugation. And these are the various oxochromes which are mainly contribute for lambda max. Then, so we are going to see so how you will give the lambda max for any structure. So in this case, you can observe this is a alternate conjugated, that is a conjugated diene. So the conjugated diene which is having only conjugated diene, it doesn't have any substance. So that means according to Woodward's rule, that is 240 nanometers. But when we keep in a instrument, it is giving 270 nanometers. That means almost, so the whatever the rules that was given by Woodward and Fisher rule, that helps to find out lambda max almost nearer to the observed value. And same in this case. So in this case, what you will observe, this is an alternate double bond and this is also having the substituents, isn't it? So total, so it is having one substituent, that is one CH3, and this is having another CH3 and another CH3. So CH3s are nothing but alkyl groups. So all these alkyl groups also contribute to the lambda max. That is, so the base value is 240 and alkyl groups are nothing but 15. So total 229. So 229 is according to Thieret Kelly. And what is observed value? That is 228. So next, so this is another example. So so this is a transide. So transide is nothing but here there is a heteroannular, isn't it? So this is a heteroannular conjugated diene and which is having the base value, that is 240 nanometers. And ring residues. Ring residues are nothing but, so this is one ring residue and this is another ring residue and this is another ring. So this is nothing but extension of this structure. So these three ring residues, they will each count for 5 So that's why 3 into 5, isn't it? And next this is 15. And exocyclic double bond is nothing but, so I already told exocyclic is nothing but, so this bond is external to this ring, isn't it? So that's why that is a exocyclic double bond. So that will carries for 5. So total 234, and this is the calculated value and observed value is 235. And this is another example. So in this case, so the base value is tonside, that is 240 nanometers, that is this is also heteroannular conjugated diene, and the total ring residues are 3 into 5 as like a previous compound and exocyclic double bond, but along with that it is also having another alkoxy group, that is OR, that is OCH2CH3, and that contribute for 6. So total 240 nanometers with the help of a Woodward-Fisher rule, isn't it? And the observed value is 241 nanometers. And the Woodward-Fisher rule, he also gave rules for calculating the alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds. So till now we have seen the conjugated dienes, isn't it? So next we are going to see the unsaturated alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds. So in this case also you can calculate like a similar way, just like a previous compound. So what are the rules? So in this case, so alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds. Here this is a functional group, that is C double bond O, and so this is a C double bond O, and the carbon which is directly attached with the C double bond O is called as alpha, and the next carbon is beta, isn't it? So the base value for acyclic enone is 250 nanometers. After that, so alpha is having 1 CH3 and beta is having 2 CH3. So alpha CH3 is counts for 10 and beta CH3 is 12. So 2 into 12, 24. So total 249 nanometers. In this case, observed also 249. And coming to the, this is a 6-membered enone. So this is a 6-membered ring structure, and which is having the enone. Enone is nothing but ketone group, isn't it? So the base value is 215, and the double bond extending conjugation. So these two are the conjugated double bonds, but this is a double bond extending conjugation, isn't it? So that will be 30. And homocyclic diene. So both the rings are present in the within the ring structure. So that's why that is a 39. And ring residue. So ring residue is nothing but this CH3 is the ring residue. So total is 302 nanometers. And next one is, so next another example, that is 5-membered enone. So this is a total 5-membered enone, and which is having the 202. And the beta ring is nothing but, so this is the beta ring residue, isn't it? So beta ring residue, that is 2 into 12. Why? Because here is 1, here is 1, and here is also another 1. So total 24, isn't it? And so this is the one ring residue, and this is another ring residue, and exocyclic double bond. So this double bond will be considered as a exocyclic for this ring structure. So total 231 nanometers. And the next one is, and 5-membered enone. So 5-membered enone is this. So this is a 5-membered enone, and this is the alpha, and this is beta ring residue. So beta ring residue, this is having the total 2. So 2 into 12, and exocyclic double bond. So exocyclic double bond is nothing but, so this is the one that is having the exocyclic double bond. So total 5. And the next one is 6-membered enone. So this is a 6-membered enone, and this is a double bond extending conjugation, and this is a beta residue, and this is a alpha ring residue, gamma. So this is a alpha, this is a gamma ring residue, and this is a exocyclic double bond. So total is 280 nanometers. And these are the various parent values and increments for the different substance. So you people have to remember all these values so that you can easily calculate a lambda max for any functional group or any chromophore which is present in a given compound. And it also along with alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds, we have seen only alpha beta unsaturated ketones, but along with the ketones you can calculate the aldehydes in a similar way. But The absorption values of aldehydes are almost similar to ketones, but it is having about 5 to 8 nanometers shorter wavelength when compared with the ketones. So along with Fischer rules, that is Woodward-Fischer rules, so Nelson also developed some of the rules for the alpha beta unsaturated acids as well as esters. So this is a cyclohexanic and cycloheptanic. So this is a alpha beta dialkyl. So this is a double bond, will not be considered. And this is also alpha beta dialkyl, but is a 7-membered ring. So when the double bond is present in a 6-membered ring, which will not be considered. But when the double bond is present on a 7-membered ring, then you have to add a 5 extra. And this is the rule for unsaturated aldehyde. So parent aldehyde will have the 208, and with alpha and beta alkyl groups are present, then it is 220. If alpha beta alkyl groups are present, then that is 230. With alpha beta alkyl groups are present, then that is a 242 nanometers. So he gives some rules for the benzoyl derivatives also. So these are the values for the various parent values and increments. So this is about the Woodward-Fischer rule. So just see the, so I will give the PPT also. Just go through once. If you have any doubts, you can contact me.